Hello everyone, welcome back. Savage is here, coming back with part 6 of What If Deku Had a Stand. Now, our last left off, Izuku have gone through the USJ and after the League of Villains attack, and Shigaraki and Kurigiri managed to run away thanks to King Card getting quite the evolution and helping him defeating the Nomo after turning him into a card, adding it into Izuku deck. Izuku with the rest of UA student and Aizawa gone into the hospital for, well, to check on themselves. As before I get into right into it, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's just get right into it. As right now, Izuku, after the doctor checking on him, telling him that he's, well, perfectly fine and healed up, and quite healthy, very healthy, Izuku, well, thanks the doctor, and before he managed to get out of the room, suddenly two people bust through the door. The first one being Inko, the second one being Felix, as both of them just, well, tears in their eyes, and Inko said, "Izuku!" As, well, she just jumped on him, hugging him, saying, "Oh, my little baby boy, you're fine. I'm thankful that you're fine. Thank God that you didn't get hurt." As Izuku said, "Mom, calm down. There's nothing to be worried about." "Nothing to be worried about? You were in danger, and I... thank God," as she just started kissing him on his face. While Alex seeing this, he just like crying too, saying, "Master Midoriya, I'm so happy that you're still alive. What can I do if you got hurt? I cannot bear the thought of that." As Izuku said, "Alright, Felix, thanks." As Inko said, "Well, thank God you're okay. Actually, you're too okay." As she looking on Izuku, seeing himself, well, perfect. Literally perfect, not even a single scratch. As she said, "You sure you got attacked? Because I'm thankful you're okay, but you didn't seem like you got hurt in any way." As Izuku said, "Oh yeah, I kinda healed myself up. Don't ask me how, I don't quite know." As well, after quite a minute of the Inko talking to the doctor and all that, and Felix just, well, saying sorry and apologizing to Izuku for being so useless and not being there to help his master, Izuku just told him to forgive himself and everything, and it's okay, as they all just gone back into their home. Felix just leading Izuku and Inko back to their house, and after they finally came inside, he left the place for his own place to stay. After all, he can't ask him to stay in Inko's house. As after Izuku eating some dinner with Inko, Inko said, "So, how was it?" As Izuku said, "How was what?" "You know, the attack? What happened exactly there?" "Oh, what happened? Well, it's simple. Just some villains attacked us and I fought it against someone and, that's it." Izuku didn't want to tell Inko about all the details. After all, he doesn't want to tell her that he was about to die on the hand of a giant black monster. As Inko said, "Oh, okay." As well, she were about to take a sip out of her orange juice, but she accidentally knocked the glass off, and before it's fallen to the ground, Izuku tried to catch it, but King Card just, well, suddenly appeared and got hold of the glass, saying, "Up, up, 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 up. Be careful more, Miss Inko. You need this drink to keep your beautiful face on. After all, orange juice is useful for the human body." As Inko said, "What the?" As, well, she see a guy with a top hat and a red giant smile with a jacket on, carrying a staff, as King Card just lifting his hat up, saying, "Howdy." As Izuku said, "Oh, what's wrong, Mom?" "Who the hell is this thing?" As Izuku said, "Oh, this is King Card. He got an evolution and I believe he became stronger or something." As Inko said, "An evolution?" As King Card, well, just gone on the ground on one knees, holding Inko's hand, saying, "It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person, Miss Inko." As well, he just gave a kiss into Inko's hand, saying, such a soft hands for such a beautiful woman." As Inko, well, saying, "Oh my, yeah. As well, Kinkar just putting his hand inside his jacket, taking a couple of red flowers, saying, "Please, believe me, these flowers are pale compared to your beauty. It's truly a sight to behold." As Izuku seeing this, he said in his head, "What the frick? What is he?" As after that, Inko said, "Oh, thanks for the flower." As Kinkar said, "Ah, such a soft voice. This feels like heaven to me." As Inko said, Izuku, can you explain to me this?" As Kinkar said, "Explain what?" "Explain my undying loyalty to you. I'll make sure that your life will be the best as possible for all the amazing things that you've done to me, all what you ever done, all the times that you comfort us, all these times that I'll never forget. I'll never forget the gentle touch of your hand on my master's cheeks, and I'll never forget the such a tasty food that you always cook. You truly deserve only the best of the best. I want to give you everything that I have, and yet it will not be enough to..." As Izuku said, "Okay, you stop right now, disappear already." As Kinkar said, "Understood," as he just disappeared. And Inko said, "Such a gentleman, but what was that? And the last time I remember, your quirk had a heart shape on his face, and it was more gray than black and white." As Izuku said, "I don't quite understand too what's wrong with him, just ignore him, would you, Mom?" "Well, okay." As Inko sniffs the flowers, saying, "Although these flowers are beautiful, and I'll keep them in water." As well, she just took the flowers and kept them in a beautiful place for her to see them every morning. As he said, "What do you think? Isn't this a good place?" As Izuku said, "Yeah, it is." "Well, I'm gonna go sleep now, Mom." "Okay, dear. Have a nice night." As Izuku got into his room, when he got inside, he just closed the door and freaking barricaded it. As he said, "Okay, Kinkard." As Kinkard appeared and said, "You called, Master?" As Izuku said, "What the frick was that?" "What was what?" "What was that? You know, the thing with my mother?" Oh, Miss Inko. How can I possibly forget about such a thing?" As Izuku said, "What was that?" "I don't know. Isn't that what you felt like?" "What do you mean?" Is it, you just, I mean, isn't that what you told me to do?" "Do what? I didn't tell you anything." "In your head." As he just pointed to Izuku's forehead, saying, "I just heard you saying a lot of beautiful things about Miss Inko, and I just, well, told her, oh, what were you thinking about?" "Wait, what?" "Yep, it's all in your head, Master. I just, well, showed her your undying love for her, and how you're grateful for everything that she'd done for you. How can you ever forget such things?" As Izuku thinking a bit and said, "Well, to be honest, King Card is just a stand, as his card says. Stands are manifestations of a human life force, taking a great inspiration out of his thoughts and ideas and personalities. I mean, I love my mother, but did he just shows my true emotions towards her?" Okay, that was a weird way to show your love, but I mean, I'm still kinda thankful for her." As King Card said, "So, any other orders, Masters?" As Izuku said, "Well, yeah." As Izuku taking King Card's card out and, well, looking at it and said, "What was that?" As Izuku looking into King Card and reading his name, it says King Card Requiem. As Izuku said, "Requiem?" "Oh yeah, Requiem. I do not quite understand that thing, Master. I myself don't quite know what that means. However, I know that we gained a new ability, and you gave it such a great name." As Izuku said, "I didn't give it a name." "Well, you thought about a name." it was total misplay. As Izuku said, total what? Total misplay. As well, King Card start explaining to Izuku. And now, guys, I'm gonna start a little part in each video where I'm gonna start explain. I do not know how to talk anymore for some goddamn reason. I'm just gonna explain about some details of Izuku's powers, and this part of the video will gonna be called Explanation Time. Now, just be with me here because I'm gonna have to tell you a lot. I have a whole list of infos that I need to explain about right here. After all, Requiem is not something to be messed with. As right now, how this will gonna go is basically that I'm gonna start talking about the details and the abilities of Izuku's new ability, which is Total Misplay, and the new evolution of King Card. And I'm gonna give some examples on the screen. For starters, let's start with King Card himself. His new form contains a top hat, a jacket, a staff, and a little guana on his shoulders. Do you see that little guana that's resting on his King Card's shoulders? Yeah, that something is also alive. You could say that Izuku got inspired by that part from his own little guard, being, well, Felix. After all, he have a iguana on his shoulders, being his stand rainbow colors, and King Card have gained his own little iguana because it was in Izuku's thoughts and it's never left his head, thinking about how amazing Felix stand is. However, King Card shape have more than just show off. For starters, his staff is quite strong and it doesn't count as a part of Izuku's body, so if it's broke, if it broke, it will not gonna damage Izuku. But it's quite a durable staff that can be used as a sword, at the same time used to, hit and stab people with, or even hit them on their heads. That's count on how strong King Cards want to hit someone, or how strong Izuku wants King Card to hit someone. The second part of King Card being the guana on his shoulders. It's more than just a show-off. The tongue that is out of the guana mouth that straps around King Card's right arm, it's some sort of you could say that King Cards can stretch this tongue out to grab objects or grab people, getting them close to him, allowing him to touch them with his right arm to turn them into cards. However, the tongue itself cannot turn someone into a card. It's basically like a chain to grab someone closer to you, allowing King Card to turn them into cards. That's a second ability. However, if the tongue of the guana got cut off, it will gonna count as a damage for Izuku that his own tongue been cut off. After all, that is King Card's tongue. Now, third of all, let's talk about the second part of King Card being, of course, his cards. A magician without a cards is like a car without an engine. As for King Card's cards, they have got their own evolution. After all, they are a part of him as much as he's a part of Izuku. As the evolution that they got is, they still as durable as unbreakable as they are. However, now they can do more than just contain things inside of them. The cards became much more sharper to be able to cut through almost anything and to stab through almost anything, giving Izuku, how can I say, a weapon to use in a situation that King Card is a bit far away from him, and Izuku cannot use him to defend himself. He can use these cards as a defense mechanism, to throw them or use them even as knives. That's one. And now let's talk about Izuku's newest ability, Total Misplay. Now this ability have a bit to it more than the eye could see. The first thing about it is that any card that king cards or anything that king cards turned into a card, it's contain abilities. For example, a wolf. Izuku turned a wolf into a card. He'll gonna have that card in his position. It won't gonna do anything more than just cut through things or used as a, well, weapon for Izuku. After all, his cards became much more sharper. But thanks to the new ability Total Misplay, Izuku can throw the card of the wolf into the body of King Card, allowing King Card to be able to use the wolf skills. All his skills, for example, a strong sense of smell, and a strong eyesight beside claws, and a bit of agility. However, when Izuku using these kind of cards and throw them into King Card's body, he himself gained the ability. So, for example, as I told you, if Izuku throw the card of the wolf into King Card's body, he himself will gonna feel like he's able to sniff much more stronger and to hear much more better, at the same time feeling much more agility, and his nails will gonna become a claws. However, the weak point for this ability is that it only lasts for 60 seconds, aka 1 minute. And after the timer goes off of 60 seconds, the card will gonna be turned into black and white, and it will gonna need about 24 hours, aka 1 day, to recharge and to be reused again. The same thing goes for quirks. For example, in the last part, I gave the example of Izuku throwing the sludge villain quirk into the body of King Card, allowing King Card to get a sludgier body for about 16 seconds, and nullifying all the damage that he takes from punching and cutting, making the part of the stand getting damaged, making the user himself get damaged, unable to be effective on Izuku for about 16 seconds. The same thing goes for other quirks, for example Bakugos if Izuku turned into a card, the Nomu, and all the others. Their quirks will gonna be lasted about 60 seconds with Izuku and King Card. However, they will gonna need about 24 hours to be recharged again. The same thing goes also for stands if Izuku ever turned a stand into a card. And that's about it. That's all the infos about Izuku's stand, new stand, King Card Requiem for now. Beside that, King Card have became quite different. How? Basically, he gained quite a personality. After all, King Card is the manifestation of Izuku life energy, which basically, he became much more conscious. How you are telling me conscious? He's basically not conscious or having his own personality. He is containing the consciousness of Izuku. Izuku deeper thoughts and much more, dark and, well, darker imagination and all that kind of things. After all of us have a deeper thoughts inside our heads. His unconsciousness, basically. So all the ideas that Izuku normally keep in the back of his head are in the head of King Card. And oh boy, that guy is mumbling just like Izuku. And that's about it. This is all for the part of explanation time for now, guys. And now let's get back into the story. As well, after Izuku heard all of these infos and, well, try them himself, for example, trying the Nomu card, throwing it into the body of King Card, and well, King Card will be able to regenerate and to nullify all punching damage for about 60 seconds, because after all, he doesn't just take one ability, he doesn't just take regeneration, he also takes absorption. As Izuku tried to stab himself in his hand, and it's actually working, he regenerates. After that, Izuku just gone to sleep to take a rest from all this thinking. And the next day, Izuku waking up and came out eating breakfast, King Card giving a little speech for Inko about how beautiful she looks every morning. Izuku just take King Card and came out of the house, seeing Felix standing in front of the door saying, "Good morning," as Izuku said, "Good morning, Felix." "What's wrong? You seem quite pale." "Yeah, I know." "What happened?" Well, first of all, I got quite the evolution of my stand. Second of all, UA called on me and told me that I have 2 weeks off for the sports festival. After all, we just got attacked by villains, so they're gonna give us some time to rest. "Oh, great! So it seems that we all gonna have to train? Shall I train you?" As Izuku said, "Train me?" "Well, yeah, I could train you. I could help you on your abilities quite a bit." "Oh, well, okay then." As Felix said, "Thanks. Come on with me. I know a very beautiful place in the forest where nobody goes there, and there is no animals there to attack us." As Izuku said, "Fine then, lead the way." As Izuku started walking behind Felix, until they finally came into the forest and Felix said, "Alright, let's start our little training regiment with a bit of a fight between both of us." "A fight? But your stand is not a fighting type." "Well, I know, but don't underestimate rainbow colors. He have more than the eye could see. I can do more than just changing the color of someone's soul if I win against them in a card game. So, what do you say? How about a little game? But not a card game this time." As Izuku said, "Sure, let's start this." As well, Felix just smiled as he took a cigar and lighted it up, put it in his mouth and said, "Alright then. Let's start this, shall we?" As he immediately just throw 3 metal balls into the sky and Izuku just seeing them and he's saying in his mind, "What is he doing?" As King Card standing in front of Izuku saying, I'm ready to defend you anytime, master." As, well, immediately, instead of throwing it by his own hand, the ton of rainbow colors on Alex's shoulder just goes out and immediately hit the metal balls into Izuku's direction on an immense speed. As immediately Izuku said, "Defend me, King Card!" As King Card just taken his staff out and, well, block all the bullets. As, well, King Card said, "They were fast." As Izuku said, "Yeah, they are." As Alex said, or Felix said, "And there is more coming." As he throw more metal balls, and King Card starts managing to block each and every one until one of them, King Card managed to, well, catch in the palm of his hand. As immediately Izuku feeling a massive heat in his hand and King Card just throw the ball into the ground and Izuku said, "Ouch, ouch, 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 what the?" As when he look on the metal ball down on the ground, he see it red and melting. As Izuku said, "But how?" As when he looked back on Felix, Felix said, "Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that when I change the color of something, the change of the color is going according to the laws of physics and nature?" As Izuku said, "What do you mean?" "Well, for example, you saw yourself. That was a metal ball. Now tell me, Midoriya, what is the color that you get when you put metal on fire for quite a while?" You get red?" "Exactly. And the metal will be so hot and it will gonna start to melt, right? So, if I change the color of a metal ball into red, that's basically as if it is burning and melting. So be more careful from touching my balls, okay? After all, I can make them melt on your skin, and thanks to the ton of rainbow colors here, he will be able to shoot them faster than a bullet." As Izuku said, "Fine then, if that's so." As Izuku taking 3 cards, putting it between each of his fingers, saying, "Then let's start this. King Card?" "Oh, right away." As King Card just putting his staff, taking a couple of cards in his right arm and start throwing them with Izuku, while Felix, God, guys, let's just let's just decide this. Do you want me to make Felix name Felix or Alex? Tell me down in the comments. Choose Felix or Alex, because my head starts hurting me from just deciding a name for this guy. Either way, Izuku started throwing cards with King Card into the direction of Felix for now, as Felix started jumping out of the way and dodging, which really surprised Izuku. He's quite the fast one. He didn't know that Felix is so, well, acrobatic this much, until Felix jumped on one of the trees and King Card seeing a couple of metal balls going their direction. Izuku just jumped out of the way, as he said, okay, now I will, but when he looked, he doesn't see Felix anywhere, as, well, King Card said, keep your eyes sharp, master, he may be anywhere. As Izuku said, I know. As after that, well, Izuku looking left to right until another couple of metal balls just goes flying in the direction of Izuku as King Card said left, as he just gone into the left and blocked the bullets. As before Izuku managed to realize what happened, another couple of balls just go flying from the right side as Izuku said King Card, but before he managed to say anything or do anything, Izuku got hit by them in his back, which just really hurts. However, they weren't hot or melting, or, well, they weren't colored red, so they will not gonna melt on Izuku's skin. As Izuku gone on one knee and King Card said, you're okay, master? As Izuku said, but before he continued, another couple of balls just go flying again in his direction and Izuku jumped out of the way saying, where is he? As King Card just right now giving Izuku, standing in front of Izuku saying, remember his ability, master? He can change the color of anything, even the color of himself and his body. Maybe, as Izuku continues saying, he camouflaged himself with the trees. And thanks to the ton of rainbow colors, he can shoot these metal balls from any direction at an immense speed. So now we can't really see him. But, as Izuku said, I believe we can smell him? You just read my mind, or maybe I read yours. Well, either way, such a magnificent idea, master. As Izuku taking a card with a wolf in it, as he just throw it into the body of King Card and immediately Izuku, well, feels more agile, more faster, and, well, he's smelling something. He smells smoke, as Izuku said, left, as well, King Card just gone into the left and Izuku throwing a card in that direction. However, before King Card managed to go so far, Izuku immediately, so fast, he just turned into the right and throw a card over there. And Izuku said, got you. As, well, suddenly King Card swap his place with the card that been thrown into the right, and he just throw the punch into the direction of the tree as immediately his hand hits something. And suddenly Alex just falls from the tree with a punch being basically on his face. As he said, ouch, that was painful. As immediately King Card standing above the body of Felix, holding his staff into his head saying, not any more moves. As Felix said, okay, I give up. As, well, King Card just put his staff away and lift his hat up saying, congrats, that was a very unique battle indeed. I look forward to fight against you more often. Felix, stand master of rainbow colors, as, well, he just helped him stand up. But immediately, Felix just takes his hands out saying, ouch, man, your stand's hands is so cold. As Izuku coming closer saying, really? As King Card's taking his hand back saying, insignificant. As Felix said, yeah, they are so cold, like hella cold. As Izuku said, oh, well, sorry, as he just calls out on King Card, telling him to disappear. As Felix said, well, you beat me up. Nice use of your new ability. What did you tell me its name is? I called it Total Misplay. As Felix said, I like the name. So, now, as Felix just clapped his hand together saying, how about some lunch? I prepared something for us to eat. in this beautiful forest, as Izuku said, "Oh, please, I'm quite hungry." "Oh, you're gonna love the sandwiches that I prepared." As well, Izuku and Felix just go to eat in the forest. And this one gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you think about this part and what do you think will gonna happen in the next part. And also, tell me, which name should I stand with, Felix or Alex? At the same time, tell me what do you think about Izuku's new ability, Total Misplay? And how about the name? I feel like it's suitable. What do you think, guys? Tell me down in the comments. For now, I don't have anything more to say than Severed was here.